This video is brought to you by The Outdoorsman. Go visit them in Greenwood, Indiana, just south of State Road 135. The Outdoorsman, providing you with all your outdoor needs since 1976.
You know, one of the questions is what fishing around central Indiana, Indianapolis area, how did that prepare me for my fishing career and where I'm at now? You know, I'm going into my 5th year on the FLW Tour, and I would say I've been fishing competitively for a good 10 to 12 years now. So I've started fishing the BFLs back in 2002. We've qualified for the All-American in 2003, again in 2005. And so I kind of took a while to work my way into the regional and national levels, and I think that's always a good idea. But I grew up fishing here in Indianapolis. I grew up fishing the Tuesday and Thursday night tournaments at Geist and in Morris. I've spent a lot of time on the White River. I grew up in Anderson. The White River runs right through there. Some really good smallmouth fishing there when I was growing up. I fished a lot of neighborhood ponds, and I even have family members down in the southern part of the state, Greene, Sullivan County, little towns like Linton and Duggar, where there are a lot of strip pits and coal mines. And I spent a lot of time in my summers in my early years fishing those. But you know, it's interesting. We have a pretty strong group of anglers from Indiana on tour today. Guys like Jacob Wheeler, Bill McDonald, Shad Shank, who just recently retired. He's a Purdue guy, so the Purdue people love that. But it's interesting because we've all had a lot of success at this level. And so the question is, you know, what was it about fishing in Indiana or specifically Indianapolis for me that helped prepare me for that level? And you know, to be honest, I think it made me personally a more well-rounded fisherman. You know, I feel like Geist and Morse have a lot of shallow cover, a lot of boat docks, a lot of riprap, a lot of seawalls, a lot of physical targets to cast at. So it's certainly helped with my shallow water fishing. It's helped with my casting. Learning how to get your bait in and under a dock and skid docks, flip docks, that kind of stuff has really helped me in regards to the technical aspect of fishing and my technique. But you know, those lakes also have some really good offshore areas. And you know, I went to college at Murray State, and I fished Kentucky Lake in my late teen and early 20 years, and I was introduced to fishing offshore, ledge fishing they call it down there. And when I came home, I quickly realized that those same opportunities were available on Geist and Morse in the months of May, June, July, August, September, the summer months when the fish really got offshore good. So, you know, those two reservoirs, Geist and Morse, for me, prepared me quite a bit shallow and quite a bit deep. And over the years, you know, I've fished Geist since, I don't know, the late 80s, I would say, and there have been some years where we've had a lot of shallow vegetation. We've had a lot of bank grass, rockweed, some guys call it out there, and then right now, if you were to go to Geist, there's a lot of Eurasian milfoil. And so, believe it or not, Geist has helped prepare me for fishing vegetation and grass and understand how to fish a frog, understand how to flip and how fish bed in those vegetation areas, how to fish clear grass and how to fish dirty grass. It's all different. And so, you know, when we go across the country to Lake Okeechobee, it's not like I've never fished grass before, you know, like I know how to throw a frog. And so it's really helped me be versatile. As our lakes have cleaned up over the years, with the zebra mussels and a lot of the local efforts to clean up the lakes, the water's cleared up. So you've had to learn how to catch them with finesse baits, like drop shots, the shaky heads. And, you know, those two lakes are really good jerkbait lakes early in the spring too. So I feel like it's helped prepare me for a lot of what I see when we go out on tour. No one would usually think of central Indiana as a hotbed, let's say, for bass fishing. But if you think of it in that way, there's a lot of different techniques and styles of fishing that you can learn right here. And you know, the fish populations in those two reservoirs are pretty good. I catch a lot of fish on Geist. In fact, I usually go work on certain techniques when I'm home or in between events. Geist has so many fish, I can usually go catch some and get ready for my next event. So hopefully that answers the question. And you know, it's really given, as I look at Jacob and Jacob Wheeler and his career and how it's taken off, you know, he cut his teeth right here in central Indiana too, and I don't think he's surprised when he gets into certain situations. Even fishing the river will help you understand current and smallmouth, and how to fish in those kind of environments. And that's how he won the Forest Wood Cup, fishing the same way he does on the White River. So we're definitely lucky to have all those opportunities here in Central Indiana. And so then I'm going to move into the second question, which is, what is your favorite way to fish, favorite style maybe, and how do you connect with that when you're out on tour? And it's pretty simple for me. If I had to choose one thing I really like to do, it's fishing boat docks. And what I'm learning is that most places we go to, even Florida, have fish that live around boat docks. Boat docks provide shade. They typically have bluegill and smaller animals around them, and so it's kind of a food chain thing. It's just like, I feel like I can catch fish around boat docks anywhere in the country. And so my first few years on tour, I didn't necessarily tap into that, but as I've grown into these last couple of years, I've realized that it's okay to go to Chickamauga and fish docks. David Dudley finished third doing it. Now, I knew the tournament was going to be one offshore, and it was. But you could still do well fishing docks, even at Lake Chickamauga in June. We went to the Potomac River last year in June, and I knew a lot of people would do well in offshore grass beds. Clark Wendlandt won the tournament fishing docks, and so I'm learning that while docks are a strength of mine, I really feel like I understand how fish position around docks, when they use them more at certain times of the year, and how to approach them, whether it's flipping them or using a moving bait around them when they get up in the shade and they position around the outside of it. That would be my preferred way to fish, and I'm really working hard to try. That's a strength of mine, and the best advice I could give you out there, if you're listening to this, is whatever your strength is or whatever it is that you're good at, when you go to a new body of water, you should try to find that bite. You should try to connect with that style of fishing, because you're going to feel most comfortable. You're going to have the most confidence if you're fishing the style that you're most comfortable with. Right now, for me, it's boat docks. So you can count on me, cash some checks the rest of this year, fishing a lot of boat docks, and hopefully that answers your question.
All right, we just want to thank Todd Hollowell for being a local Indiana guy and being a role model for all of us guys here, and we want to thank him for coming to the Outdoorsman today at the Fishing Open House, and wish you a good luck on your year.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.